AIA Vitality. Your health is every choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality Wheel to earn Vitality Coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality Points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get onto AIA Vitality today because your health is every choice you make.
And welcome to the Jalan Besar Stadium for the final match in round 7. It's a third of the way through the 2021 AIA Singapore Premier League after the Lion City Sailors entertain Balestier Khalsa. Sailors, Tigers, live from Jalan Besar, a game that produced plenty of goals when they met twice last campaign. The Sailors winning 7-1 and 5-2. Of course, both these teams shared Bishan Stadium last season. This season, the Sailors sharing Jalan Besar with the Young Lions. So the team news will be with you very shortly. Kick-off is less than 10 minutes away. Let's get down pitch so straight away to join our superstar, Farah, who's caught up with both managers ahead of the big clash. We'll hear from Marco Krajovic, the Tigers coach, after Farah has spoken with the coach of the Lion City Sailors, Aurelio Vidmar.
Aurelio, firstly, I just want to start by the fact that we heard that you have some injury issues and that you'll be handing debut to 2 of your youngsters today.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, unfortunately, Adam Noor hurt his ankle at training a few nights ago, and Justin also has a slight problem. So we're handing our debuts to midfielder Glenn and Anik, who's going to be playing at right back.
Now, of course, you come into this one on the back of the 8-0 win over Geylang. Do you think that this is your side settled and that things are finally clicking together as you've wanted?
Look, I think we're travelling along fine. Every game sets a different challenge, and tonight is a completely different challenge as well. We're playing against a very aggressive physical side, so that's something that we need to match. And I think in terms of our football quality, I'm always a strong believer that going into any game thinking that we should boss the game.
Marco, you are up against the Sailors tonight. What are your thoughts going into this one?
Last game in first round, is my thought is keep very tight behind. If you can keep clean sheet, it will be excellent job. And this is first in crossing my mind.
Now, you lost on both occasions against them last season, and you could argue that they're perhaps even stronger this season. How will you be looking to stifle them tonight?
Yeah, but last year is last year. We forget about last year. We learn from last year, We move forward in this year. I think they look stronger. We also look stronger, And then I think we're going to give them good fight.
Now, in terms of team selection, you will have Ansar back today after he had his red card rescinded. But are we expecting any changes?
Any changes? A little bit changes will be. Hazwan will be on the bench, and then rest. Everything is some young boys will come. I mean, his injury and then not recover yet, and then some young boys will play, and then the rest is all same.
Marco, thank you. Good luck.
You're welcome.
Lovely work from Farah, catching up with the two coaches. Kick-off not too far away. Team news on the way. I can tell you, as already a bit more alluded to with Farah, two debutants for the Sailors tonight in Anik Raushan and Glenong. A very big occasion for those two youngsters. Glenn and Anik, both 18 years of age. What an opportunity for them to come into a Sailors team that we know has got stacks of ability, but have been inconsistent. They have yet to win back-to-back games so far this season, and the three teams they have beaten, Tanjung Pagar, Young Lions and Geylang, make of this what you will, but they are the bottom three teams in the division so far this season. When they've taken an Alberix, Nagata, Hougang and Tampines, who currently sit above them in the table, they have failed to pick up maximum points. This, of course, their first meeting with Balestier Khalsa, who they got the better of last season by quite a comfortable margin as well, an aggregate score of 12-3. But Marko Kravic is a wily old fox, and speaking to him earlier, I think the belief is that Balestier will play three at the back today, which is an interesting way of trying to marshal the likes of Stipe Plazabat and Gabriel Quack, the theory being that they might try and stack the midfield to stifle some of that creativity that can be created by Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez, of course, who got his first goals in Singapore football last time out, bagging a hat-trick in that 8-0 demolition of Geylang. It was a hard luck story really for Balestier. Last time out, they went down by a 1-0 against Hougang, but they did have that extenuating circumstance of Ensar Bruncevic's red card after 22 minutes after a controversial tangling with Lionel Tan that has subsequently and correctly been rescinded. There are officials leading the players out onto the pitch. Our referee today, Mohamed Zakari, and very shortly the players will join them. And we'll confirm that team news for you. After Alberix made a statement by demolishing Tanjung Pagar 6-0 and Hougang struggled to a 1-1 draw with the Young Lions, a win for the Sailors tonight will take them second in the table, and they will only be 3 points behind Alberix with a third of the season played. Here are the Sailors, and there are the Tigers, led out by two captains who are goalkeepers today, in Hassan Sunny for the Lion City Sailors and Zaiful Nizam for Balestier. Well, games at Jalan Besar this season have certainly provided plenty of goals. The Young Lions and the Lion City Sailors, whenever they play here, it seems to rain goals dating back to the first game of the season, which seems a long time ago now. On the 13th of March, that incredible 3-0 draw against Tampines, where the Sailors led 2-0 in quick fashion and 3-1 before being begged back to 3-3. And the following day after that opening game here, Balestier visited Jalan Besar to take on the Young Lions in a game that also finished 3-3. So Balestier already been involved in one goal fest at Jalan Besar this season. Will this be another? Perceived wisdom suggests it will rain goals here today. How will Marko Kravic's experiment with a back three work out? Match officials, Mohamed Zakari, assisted by Andy Tan, Lim Si Seng and Ahmed Al-Kassar, the fourth official. It looks like Zaiful Nizam has won the toss as Balestier get in their customary touchline huddle while the ceremonial photograph is taking place. A warm welcome wherever you're watching, whether it be on Singtel Star Hub Live, on the AIA Singapore Premier League Facebook, or One Play Sports. Here is the Sailors starting lineup with those two changes, significant ones. Anik Roshan will come into play at right back, and Glenong will take his place in midfield. Glenong lining up along the likes of Diego Lopez and Gabriel Quack, who once again is having a stellar season. George Felipe, who got that crucial goal in the 2-2 draw against Alberix 2 games ago, is also starting alongside Lopez, who occupies his creative role in midfield. A hat-trick for Lopez last time out, 2 for Quack, 2 for Plazabat, and 1 for Saifullah, who also plays today. And they've got Hafiz Noor and the likes of Faris Ramli and Sugol Yong on the bench. As for Balestier Khalsa, well, Zuzu, who didn't start in that game against Hougang, he's back in the starting lineup today. Other than that, Adel Yazid and Aidel Johari will be expected to try and do every bit as good as Anik Roshan and Glenong do as the underage players for the Sailors. There's already a bit more the coach. As I say, a win here, and there'll only be 3 points off Alberix with still 14 games to go, but it's safe to say that although the Sailors in patches have looked sensational, you could argue that the results suggest they've still got something to prove. Could they start proving it tonight? There's Marko Kravic, one of the nicest guys in Singapore football. His Tigers team always giving 100%. And we're underway. The Tigers in the red playing right to left. The Sailors in the white blue shorts playing left to right. And straight away, a long ball directed in the way of Jumbo Hoshino. And no-nonsense defending, belted out with some purpose by Amaral. The only Lion City Sailors player to pick up a red card so far this season. He picked up red in that game against the Young Lions here. It was neatness really as well. They were 3-0 up at the time. Kiki Krajcek. 2 goals for Kiki in the 4-0 win against Tanjong Pagar. That's flicked on to the edge of the area. Diego Lopez is there, but it's knocked back in. And a high ball gathered comfortably by Hassan Sunny. And here we see the first glimpse of that trademark Lion City Sailors quick counter-attack with Hassan Sunny's distribution once again holding up to scrutiny. Foot on the ball and just looking for an option is Saifullah, and they end up having to go back. But you can see Hassan Sunny, they did it last season, they're doing it this year as well. Every time they break down an aerial attack, they try and break with real pace. Here's an early touch for Anik Roshan, the debut boy. Laid back by the other debut boy, Glenong. So great to see the 2 youngsters link it up early. George Felipe, who was by no means fit perfect against Albirex Nagata, but made up for it somewhat with that headed equaliser late in the piece. That's drifted into the far post, and Zaifun Izan comes well with Gabriel Quack and Stipe lurking. Another goal for Tomoyuki Doi yesterday. Sees him extend his lead in the Golden Boot race. He's now got 11th of the season, 4 ahead of Stipe and Boris Kapitovic of Tampines Rovers. Gabriel Quack, impressive as well with 6. What's impressive about Stipe is, and this has been a hallmark of his play, certainly with Hougang, but even more noticeable with Lion City Sailors, he's a very selfless player. He's come up with 4 assists already. In basketball parlance, you'd anticipate him reaching a double-double by the end of the season. Here's George Felipe with space to run into. Gets it over on that far side. That was the intention, but Saifullah was never going to get to that. Not the greatest pass from George Felipe there. Put up high by Akil Yazid. It's deflected, and then Balestier make up some ground. Well, that late equaliser from Hougang really means we're still awaiting the first major shock of the season so far. A win for Balestier Khalsa would fall into that category here today. Obviously, the Young Lions produced a bit of a shock when they drew 3-3 here with Balestier, having been 3-1 down with only a quarter of the game to play. I still maintain, and some of the scorelines might make you argue with me, that this is the most competitive Singapore Premier League season in quite some time, despite 6, 7 and 8 nil wins already in the ledger. Zuzu out wide. Gareth Lowe's getting in an advanced position here, but didn't work out for them, and Gabriel Quack picks up the loose pass and then is fouled by Kiki Krajcek. Yes, great to see Ensar Bruncevic's red card rescinded. Lionel Tanner, who's involved in that incident, was also involved in a similar incident yesterday in the game against the Young Lions. Bit of controversy there. Makes the world go round, doesn't it? Gives you fans something to talk about. Always enjoy a good, healthy debate when it comes to football. Let's tell that as it is, though. No pointless and relentless negativity. I think this league has made a great start. And, of course, next season, maximum capacity, or next season, I mean next week, 250 fans allowed in the ground without any requirements of vaccinations and negative tests and what have you. That was the case this weekend. But next weekend, every game, 250 spectators allowed in. And all you've got to do is make sure you go online to the Football Association of Singapore or Singapore Premier League websites or social media channels to know what you have to do to get those tickets online. Gabriel Quack stood up very well there, Gabriel Quack, but unfortunately the pass didn't match the tackle from Ahmed Shahir. So another early touch for Anik Roshan to Gabriel Quack. Chardin Works it to Felipe, who's in space, and finds his fellow countryman, Diego Lopez, on the charge. Lopez to the edge of the area, spreads it to the left-hand side. Saifullah cuts inside, looking for options. Gets it back to Shardan. Naikudin with the cross. Headed away, again only as far as the edge of the area where Gabriel Quack and Stipe were lurking. And Stipe, conscious of that foot going high and able to win it. What a tackle that is from Glenn Ong. Welcome to the AIA Singapore Premier League, Glenn Ong. The 18-year-old with an impressive tackle as one of his first main contributions. Don't forget next weekend, Hougang Lion City Sailors. I believe that'll be our feature game with a full pre-show alongside Rosh and Rai. That game here produced an absolute shock back in March when Hougang triumphed by 3-1. They've subsequently had a couple of questionable outcomes though, Hougang, so it'll be interesting to see how that shakes down on grass, remember, rather than the artificial surface when they play at Hougang. That's a lovely ball through to play in Naikudin. Naikudin, Gabriel Quack! Yakety yak, it's Gabriel Quack with his 7th of the season, and it's an absolute scorcher. Wonderful cross from Naikudin, and Gabriel Quack picked that one out on the penalty spot. Takes it first time. Saiful Nizam, absolutely no chance. You beauty. Naikudin's cross was a thing of beauty, and Gabriel Quack, I did him in his service. He was a couple of yards further out to the penalty spot. What a finish. And for all the foray around Diego Lopez and George Felipe, which you can understand, this isn't just this season. Gabriel Quack has been an absolute standout now for over 12 months in Singapore football. And once again, it's something I keep repeating when you look at Gabriel Quack, Irfan Fandi, Kyrin Nadim, and some of the youngsters coming through. There are some special players amongst the under-23 contingent across the league and in the Young Lions. Certainly room for optimism with the national side. Gabriel Quack with the breakthrough. And as they did against Tampines, in a game, of course, they didn't go on to win. They've opened the scoring inside 10 minutes. 7 minutes the official time for Gabriel Quack's absolute scorcher. No, that's not the start that Marco wanted, that back three that he's experimenting with. Too early to say that that was responsible for that breakdown. I mean, Naikudin did find himself in a lot of space over on that far side, but when Gabriel Quack's finishing like that and with his fantastic off-the-ball movement, I think that's another underrated aspect of his game, his movement off the ball. Here's Zuzu, and Amaral sends it out for another throw. What a strike, Gabriel Quack. We've seen some absolute stunners in the AIA Singapore Premier League this season. That's right up there. If Diego Lopez has scored that, we'd all be raving about this $3 million Brazilian. Great to see a Singaporean striking with goals like that. Good throw from Kiki Krajcek. Edge of the area and another long-range effort, this time from Gareth Lowe. But it's off the target. Balestier's first attempt on goal goes wide to the left-hand post of Hassan Sunny. Well, would have been even more spectacular than Gabriel Quack's if Gareth Lowe had been able to connect from there. See down below Marko Kravic and Aurelia Vidmar both on their feet in their technical areas. As the Sailors take it short with Hassan Sunny to George Felipe. He was, as I said, not fit perfect against Albrechts. There was defending to do for the Sailors in that 8-0 win against Ganning. I know it sounds daft, but it wasn't really an 8-0 game. It was just one of those bizarre comings together when the Lion City Sailors, with all their talent, were absolutely ruthless in front of goal, and Geylang couldn't convert. That was an intelligent header down from Jumbo. Didn't find Zuzu, though. Comes out to Ahmed Shahir, and this is where there could be danger. Gabriel Quack's in possession again. What a ball that is to Diego Lopez, and Lopez is away at the races. Plays him out, and Saifullah ahead of him. Look at Gabriel Quack running on the far post. Might not need him. Saifullah's forced a brilliant save out of Saiful Nizam, who got a touch. And it'll be the first corner of the contest. Well, the Sailors are sailing at the moment, plain sailing. Every time they come forward in the final third, they look dangerous, and Saifullah, not entirely sure Siphonism needed to get the touch, but he's entitled not to take the chance there. It's now Chardin goes over to take the first corner of the contest with 10 minutes on the clock. If you're just joining us, you've missed a screamer. Stay with us at half-time to see it again. In fact, we'll show it to you during the water break, midway through the half. Gabriel Quack after 7 minutes. Chardin. We'll get this back, Chardin. Take two with the cross. Chardin's delivery is decent, hangs up. Felipe was there, but Big Bruno gets it clear. Glenon, short start to Glenong's season. There's the other Navy boy, Anik Roshan. Their nerves, I'm sure, will be eased by the fact that the Sailors have made the breakthrough early. But Balestier have striking threats themselves. I think Zuzu was looking for a free kick there. I felt there was a bit of a tug of the shirt, and Felipe gets it back to Hassan Sunny. In today, this will be the first time the Sailors have recorded back-to-back victories. A win will take them second by virtue of their better goal difference than Hougang. Hougang +8, the Sailors +14 now. A win will take them from fourth to second above Tampines, who are a point behind Hougang in third on 13 points. Back by Amaral, Chardin, George Felipe. Diego Lopez. Look at that. That's confidence for you in Glenong. Knew where his teammate was happy to let Chardin take it. Gabriel Quack linking up with Anik Roshan, who I think has been watching Tanjung Pagar's Blake Risciuto. Seems to be emulating that hairstyle, letting it all grow out. Blake, unfortunately, on the wrong end of a 6-0 scoreline with Tanjung Pagar yesterday against Albrecht Nagata. Lopez, look at the time and space he's got, finds Gabriel Quack, who's chest down, is a little bit heavy, and Kiki Krajcek can pinch this. Hoshino with Zuzu ahead of him, and that's handball by Chardin. Later in the game, that might even been a yellow card. So again, with that trio of Kiki, Zuzu, and Jumbo, the Sailors don't want to take the eye off the ball because clean sheets have been hard to come by for them. Just the two in the 5-0 win against Tanjung Pagar and the 8-0 win against Geylang. But with that goal that they got in the 7th minute, they've now scored in their last 19 matches. The last team to shut them out, Tampines Rovers, back in March of last year in that incredible 4-0 win when all the goals came in the second half as Jumbo gets the shot away. From a narrow angle, couldn't steer it on target, but at least they're creating Balestier. They're still in this. Easy to get carried away, as I did, to be fair, with the stunning nature of Gabriel Quack's goal and Saifula's long-range effort, but there's goals in this Balestier Khalsa team. Their defence going into tonight was the second best in the league. They've conceded 8 goals now after that Gabriel Quack effort. Albrecht Nagata, the only other team to have conceded single digits. With the top 5 teams, they have got the lowest number of goals scored with just 10. Kenny wants the free kick there and not getting it. Zuzu getting a little bit frustrated, and when you look out there and see the likes of Zuzu and Big Bruno and Sabruncevic and Jumbo, in fact, they have got plenty of height at set pieces, so there'll be a threat from corners as well. Very impressed so far with Glenong and Anik Roshan. You'd never guess that they were, let's be honest, only really playing due to the injuries to Justin Hui and Noor Adam. George Felipe. Amaral. Anik Roshan. George Felipe crosses over into Balestier territory, trying to find Saifula down that left. Doesn't see a clear pass. He gets it back to Chardin, who's, with the arrival of Diego Lopez, had to drop even deeper, of course. If you think he's not enjoying life, I'm sure he is. What about poor old Song Yong can't get a game? Great ball, chase on for Anik Roshan, just can't get there. Thinking was right though. But encouraging to see Anik Roshan having the confidence and belief to not be afraid to make those long runs down the right flank. course, is a feature of Noor Adams' game. Happy to get in behind and then track back. It means a lot of work. But the later kick-off times now, through the month of Ramadan, means 8:30 kick-off. Slightly cooler temperatures as Kiki Krajcek sends that very long. And Hassan Sunny, who was already out of his area, will pick it up and get going as a sweeper keeper. Gets it to Saifullah. How much time and space Saifullah's got here. Shardan too. Shardan to Lopez. And we're all back to Hassan Sunny. Felipe. Nakudin, whose cross it was as well, created the first goal for Gabriel Quack. Back to Shardan and Hassan Sunny. As is always the case though, doesn't matter whether you're the Lion City Sailors or Bayern Munich, when you need 1-0, you want to get a second, you only want to put this game away. They managed to do that against Geylang. It was 5-0 at half-time. From memory, against Geylang. May have been 4 actually, I'll check that from memory, but nevertheless, the game is over as a contest at half-time. This will be a different task to try and do it against Balestier. Diego Lopez, nice 1-2 with Quack. Quack gets it again, just behind him, but Quack recovers brilliantly. Gabriel Quack squares it. Lopez on the edge of the area, back to Gabriel Quack again, and they'll get a free kick right on the edge of the area. And this is a real promising piece of real estate as the warning goes out to Kiki Krajcek and a couple of the other Balestier players that I think referee Zakari might be going to his card if another challenge like this one comes in. No complaints, it was certainly a free kick. He went in late. Kiki Krajcek, it was the referee. It wasn't Kiki Krajcek who committed the foul, but the referee had a chat with him and he just acknowledged that they need to calm down a little bit. Now, I don't know how they decided takes the free kicks at the Lion City Sailors, because any number of 5 of them you would fancy could hit them. Stipe and Lopez had a nibble, but the way Gabriel Quack striking the ball from open play and set pieces this season, he'd have to be the preferred candidate you would fancy. We'll shortly find out. Shardan! Oh, it's an absolute beauty! And there's the second goal. Well, all eyes on Gabriel Quack. Shardan went for precision rather than power, and he's gliding past Saiful Nizam for 2-0. And they may be able to put this game to bed by the break after all. Shardan with his first goal of the season, and it's one to remember, a cultured right-footed free kick. And Saiful Nizam didn't get near it, it was placed to perfection. It wasn't a pile driver, it had a bit of whip on it. And that could be the buffer they need to make it a very long night indeed for Balestier Khalsa. Lion City Sailors 2, Balestier Khalsa 0. Well, now we've got 2 goals to show you at the water break. And if you are just joining us, a reminder, Gabriel Quack has scored a stunner here tonight already. Well, have the Lion City Sailors finally found their groove? As it stands, they're going to go second, 3 points behind Albirex, who of course they have to play twice more this season. I mean, such is the way an 18 3-round league is played. You've pretty much always got your fate in your own hands until you get too far adrift. And that's lovely work from Anik Roshan. He had to anticipate that because Ahmed Shah here was in behind him if he hadn't have got that touch. Kiki Krajcek. Nice touch from Krajcek to Jumbo. Gets it out wide right. Zuzu waits in the middle! Just couldn't get underneath the header, and it's behind for a goal kick. Well, they have now scored, the Lion City Sailors, in their last, 90? Add 20 on here, 110, and add that second half on against Albirex as well. 155 minutes of football. They've scored 12 goals without reply. 2 goals to come back from 2 down against Albirex. 8 goals against Geylang, and now 2 goals inside the first 20 minutes here against Balestier Khalsa, and that's frightening for them. Diego Lopez, Stipe Plazibat, they're playing really well here. Nakudin is going to get to this first. Plazibat waits in the middle. Naikudin deflected behind for another corner. Well, with the talent they've got at their disposal and the way Aurelia Vidmar's got them playing here, they are a joy to watch. Again, you could argue, even if they go on and win here, they've only been beating teams below them in the table, but if they can get this right and click even, Albrechts, Tampines and Hougang will struggle to live with them. Of course, as mentioned though, they've played all those teams once already and failed to win a single game. Second corner, drifted in, George Felipe! It took a touch off Plazavat first, I think, which meant Felipe's run was a little bit mistimed, but the man with the best moustache in Singapore football nearly bundles that one home. Ensar Bruncevic just doing enough. They now have the best goal difference in the division. Plus 15 now, the Lion City Sailors. Albrechts plus 13. They're the only two teams in double-digit positive territory when it comes to goal difference. And every time you see Albrechts Negada play, you just keep thinking they're not as good as previous seasons, but they keep getting results and they're top of the table as it stands after a third of the season, whatever happens here. Saifullah. And Kudin. Shardan. Saifullah. Shardan gets it, Diego Lopez. Gabriel Quack, we sold Anik Roshan a bit of a pup there, but the youngster recovers really well. What an impressive start both Anik Roshan and Glenn Ong have had here. Glenn Ong giving George Felipe an option, but Felipe sees the run of Gabriel Quack. He's in behind again, but the flag's up. It won't count, it's offside. Can't have been much in that because Felipe did release it relatively quickly. Complaints from Gabriel Quack, which suggests the decision was spot on. Can't see the ball being played, but I think you can just about work out he was offside. Good decision by our assistant referee. Two assistant referees today, Andy Tan and Lim Sing Tseng. Saiful Nizam, who in fairness hasn't really stood a chance with both goals. People will say that the free kick wasn't delivered at much pace, but the placement of that free kick from Shardan was absolute perfection. Anik Roshan, they were looking for a free kick, and I've got to give a free kick here against Amaral. He's all over Zuzu. And this is where Balestier could be in business. We've just seen the Sailors score from a set piece. With this height and the ability of Kiki Krajcik to land the ball on a sixpence, free kicks in this kind of territory are a danger, as Zuzu and Amaral will keep an eye on that battle throughout the course of the next 68 minutes. Zuzu certainly making the referee aware of his unhappiness. Perfect position for Kiki Krajcik to just drift this into the penalty area where Bruno will be waiting, and we saw how vulnerable the Sailors were in the air against Albrechts. Kiki flicked on, attempted flick on by Zuzu, but Stipe was there. He's another powerful weapon, Stipe Plazavat, when he comes back to defend set pieces. Ahmed Shahir, the only man back for Balestier, and they need to be careful because Stipe's already motored down the other end of the field to apply a little bit of pressure. Now heads back as Bruno trots back as well for Balestier. That's a loose pass. Can't afford to cede possession like that. As Gabriel Quack, as he tends to do, has now drifted in to play a central role. It's something that Vidmar obviously lets him do. Occasionally he'll pop up on the left-hand side as well, even though he's predominantly renowned as a right winger almost. Shardan. Plazavat with a delicate touch to find Anik Roshan. Shardan. Felipe. Diego Lopez. Now Kudin to his left. He cuts inside instead, Lopez. Gets it back to Shardan. Well, they're having some success in packing the midfield, Balestier Khalsa, but when they can break through that midfield five, they are clearly, as we've already seen once with Gabriel Quack's goal, getting joy down the flanks. And there's another example of Gabriel Quack switching flanks just to mix things up a bit. They've got the option of Adam Swandy on the bench, of course. Here come Balestier Khalsa trying to break. Jumbo Hashino. Oh, he's found Kiki in some space. Now Kiki can hit them. Kiki Krajcek. Krajcek. Second bite of the cherry, and it's a goal back for the Tigers. The Sailors failed to keep a clean sheet yet again. It looked like Kiki Krajcek's chance had gone, but he latched onto the rebound from his original effort with an exquisite finish past Hassan Sunny. And once more, it's raining goals at Jalan Besar. Well, Shardan stood up to him, but the rebound went straight back to Krajcek. And how about that for an exquisite finish with his right foot? Get the first shot with the left, and the second one, just almost, again, a bit like Shardan's goal, delicately placed over Hassan Sunny. Could the keeper have done better? Might be a bit harsh, again, like Shardan and Quack's goals before them. Just a wonderful finish. We've had a fantastic start to this one. 25 minutes in, there are 3 goals, and maybe the Sailors won't be romping away with this after all. Love to get a chance to see that Gabriel Quack goal again if we can. We've just seen Kiki's effort that came at the perfect time just before the hydration break. For me, though, Gabriel Quack's goal still the best one of the game so far, but it's a competitive race. Kiki Krajcek's 4th of the season. And if you are just joining us and caught a glimpse of that Kiki Krajcek goal, already 2 goals in the bank for the Sailors, 7 minutes in. A wonderful strike from Gabriel Quack off an Icudin cross, and then Shardan from a free kick, bagging his first goal of the season. Well, Hassan Sunny's come under the microscope a little bit this season. I think it's harsh to suggest he could have done better there. I mean, it wasn't a goalkeeping clanger by any stretch. I'm sure he'd have liked to try and keep it out. That goes without saying. And the Tigers back in this. Going on. And Sunny will now have only kept 2 clean sheets this season against the bottom 2 teams as well, Tanjung Pagar and Geylang International. So still the defence a bit of a concern, and bearing in mind the money they spent, surely the AFC Cup is high on the priority list for the Sailors. They'll have to tidy up the defence when they play in that competition. Oh, Plazibat trying to get it to Diego Lopez, and it's just going to run beyond the Brazilian. But you can see when you watch the Sailors, maybe defensively it's easy to pick holes. When they come forward, they do play an attractive brand of football. You have to give Aurelio Vidmar credit for that. And again, in the Singapore Premier League, maybe you can go on to win the title with that kind of attacking brand of football, even when you're shipping goals at the other end. AFC Cup might be a different proposition. It'll be fascinating to see how they get on. Of course, they'll be joined by Geylang International in that competition, who are struggling a little bit, but a much better performance from Nur Ali's side in that 3-2 defeat against Tampines on Friday. That's over the top, and Zuzu's got goal side in front of Amaral. This battle continues between the centre-back and Zuzu. He's got Armature here in support, but Zuzu wants to go in his own. Still Zuzu. Challenges in. Challenges flying in. Oh, he's missed that out. That's a bad miss. And they could be in business with Stipe Plazibat. Arish Kumar couldn't get to it, and Plazibat could punish him. Plazibat inside, over the top, looking for the run of Glenong. You just can't get there. Every time I talk about Glenong in midfield, I expect to see the Flying Dutchman next to him. It's very confusing. All we need now, if Glenong continues like this for the Lion City Sailors and Barry Maguire signs for the Sailors, we could have the Flying Dutchman next to him, could we? Here's Kiki Krajcek. That little line, by the way, will be lost on our viewers from outside of Singapore. Going on, the Flying Dutchman, a very popular radio breakfast duo. Naikudin. What a game we've got here. This is really shaping up as entertaining stuff. What a weekend we've had, in fact. The 3-2 game in the East Coast Derby on Friday. The Stags winning 3-2. Last night, Albrecht's putting Tanjung Pagar to the sword 6-0. Great point for the Young Lions, but they should have had all 3. Goalkeeping clanger at the death cost them all 3 points against Hougang, who were second going into today. And they'll be cheering on Balestier, because if Balestier can get something from this game, Hougang will still stay second with a third of the season gone. Look at Plazibat's work rate, sensational. Saifullah on the edge of the box. Oh, look at the footwork from Saifullah! Oh. Goodness gracious me, he went close earlier on in the piece, and he's He's another much improved player, Saifullah, this season. Look how tight he was in here to try and fashion the place for a shot. Left Balestier fixed and befuddled there. Saifullah. Arish Kumar, who's having a slightly torrid time at the moment in the midfield for Balestier Khalsa, one of their under-23 players. Half an hour gone. Saiful Nizam with the goal kick. Sheena misses it out. Nice header by Ahmed Shahir, but it's picked off by Anik Roshan. Tell you what, Kiki Krychek and Zuzu are up for this. Jumbo Hoshino's currently on the deck, lying on his stomach. And Jumbo's not the kind of man to go down without due cause. He's just getting back to his feet now, so there'll be no need for the physio. Just fed awkwardly, I think, there. Anik Roshan. Amaral. Felipe. Well, I fancy goals before kickoff. I fancy even more now. We had 5 goals on Friday at OTH. 6 goals at Jurong East last night. The way this is going, we could top 6 here. George Felipe. Chardin. Spreads it to Amaral. He's got Gabriel Quack. He beats his man Kiki Krychek. Quack delivers the cross. Just a bit too much petrol on that. And the vain chase for Saifullah Akbar is behind for a goal kick. You can see downstairs Marko Kravic is animated about something. Just a little bit unhappy how Gabriel Quack was allowed to create that space to deliver the cross. Got a wonderful footballing mind, Marko Kravic. And apart from that brief stint in Malaysia, pretty much a mainstay of the Tigers over recent years. Saiful Nizam. Shino chests it down well. That was intelligent football. Kiki Krychek, Zuzu and Amaral. That battle continues, and Amaral's forced into a mistake there. He sliced that, and Zuzu is bearing down. And Kiki Krychek now picks it up, and that's an intelligent pass from Krychek as well. It was the right idea, just unable to get the right side of pass of the Lion City Sailors. Anticipation there by Adil Jahari to prevent Gabriel Quack receiving that pass. Anik Roshan, hassled by Kiki Krychek, back to Amaral. Yeah, keep an eye on that Zuzu Amaral battle. That's going to run and run, I fancy. So such a committed and determined player, Zuzu. He'll be snapping at Amaral's heels and vice versa throughout this contest. Oh, Stipe was sold a pup with that pass. Here is Zuzu. Gets it to Kiki Krychek. Jumbo a bit behind play there, so probably the free kick was the best outcome for the Tigers after Stipe plays it out foul Kiki. Trying to get the ball to Ahmed Shahir, but he'd gone a little bit early with his run. Kiki Krychek already with his goal to his name, his 4th of the season. Back to George Felipe. George Felipe to Saifullah. The debate on the under-23 rule is raging on. I was having a chat with Marko Kravic about it earlier and Noor Ali about it on Friday, and for that matter, Noam Shah yesterday. It will rage on, but what do you think is good for the league? It is highlighting some really strong Singaporean talent. Saifullah! Speaking of the devil, 22-year-old Saifullah has already gone close twice. Hoshino, oh, that's casual and lazy. Saifullah picks it up, Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez might fancy a strike here. Lopez switches it to Stipe Plazivat. Can't get the shot away, but will keep it in. Stipe, and will win a corner after good covering challenge work from Adil Jahari. Yes, I think a healthy debate about the under-23 rule is imminent. thoughts are on the young Lions or the under-23 rule? So far the season served up some talented under-23 talents. Of course, not all of them Singaporean. Maxat for Hougang. The youngster who's impressed, the Kazakhstani. Shardan's corner, flicked on by Diego Lopez! And the header into the ground from Stipe caused all kinds of problems. It bemused the Balestier Khalsa defence momentarily, and Saifunism eventually tips over in acrobatic fashion. Yeah, obviously Noor Adam, another under-23 player who's impressed. With Kanadi. Galang is a player I'm a fan of. This, let's face it, almost too many to mention. Adam Hakim, who's come in to replace Shah Shahiran, who's off on NS, another great young talent. Kairid Nadim. Ilhan as that header from Amaral goes wide. So when we talk about bring back the roar on Project 2034, there are those that scoff, but if we all come together and get behind these boys, particularly when the stadiums start opening up, I think there's a real chance for the Singapore Premier League to make a concerted effort to get fans back in from next weekend. As I've already mentioned, 250 tickets available. You can book them online, no requirements. This weekend, the stadium was open for 250 fans, but you had to have a vaccine or a negative test. Not everyone, of course, has that at their disposal, but next weekend, those requirements are done away with. So let's start getting fans back in the stadium. If we all come together and support these players, good things can happen. Stipe Plazibat getting good things from Diego Lopez. Another good ball. The Brazilian waits in the middle. Gabriel Quack arriving as well. Plazibat squares it to the edge of the 6-yard box, and Diego Lopez was waiting, but it's turned behind by Akil Yazid. So Shardan over to take the corner. Corner count. Ratcheting up for City Sailors as we get to within 8 minutes of half-time. It's their 5th of the contest. Haven't scored from one yet. Is this a good game? The referee let the game flow quite freely. There's been an occasion where he's been forced to blow his whistle for an infringement, but it's been an open and attacking and entertaining game of football, which is what we all want to see. Naikudin, Saifullah, into Shardan. Shardan picks out Anik Roshan. What can Anik do with this? Nice fadeaway pass to Gabriel Quack. Shahir is now over to cover Gabriel Quack after more good work from Adil Jahari, the 18-year-old. I'm raving about 2 18-year-olds on the Sailors side, and Nick Jahari. Adil Jahari's had a good start as well. And herring down to this, it's Zuzu against Amaral again. Zuzu with a good cross! Jumbo almost there. But adjudged to have committed a foul as he marched into the area. Zuzu against Amaral. That's going to go for the whole 90 minutes. And he just bundled over Naikudin, I think it was. A couple of Sailors went flying as a result of Jumbo's arrival. Naikudin was one, and then Shah Dan ended up on his back as well. Yeah, speaking of youngsters, must also mention a 17-year-old on the park for Balestier today. 17-year-old Akil Yazid. He's not looked too out of place either to this point. So good sign for the youngsters early on. 6 minutes to the break. Saifullah, who's looked incredibly lively. Shardan. Amaral. Wherever Amaral goes, you almost expect Zuzu not to be far away. That was a tricky crossing to deal with. Oh, improvisation from Naikudin, but Diego Lopez is offside. Yeah, a little bit lazy that from Diego Lopez, because they were entitled to follow the Balestier Khalsa line-up. Kind of wasted Naikudin's improvisation there. Zaiful Nissim with the free kick. Can the Tigers level this up before half-time? That would be something, wouldn't it? After the Sailors went 2 up inside 20 minutes. And at that point, there would have been people saying, are we going to get a repeat of the 8-0 from last week? But Balestier Khalsa kept their cool. Marko Kravic hasn't let them crumble. And Kiki Krajcek's riposte, a great goal in itself. All 3 goals actually wonderful here today. Naikudin, Glenong. Oh, look at the tricks from Diego Lopez. Breaks down just inside the area. Glenong's being lent all over. There by Kiki Krajcek. It'll be a free kick. This one's going to be a bit too far out, I fancy, for Chardin, but they'll send the big boys up. None taller than George Felipe. Need to check that. He must be the tallest player in the league, George Felipe, and that probably includes the keepers. I know Koga's quite a tall chap, the Albrecht's Nagata keeper, but Felipe is an absolute beast. Chardin's delivery is a good one. Nearly came to Felipe. Instead, it'll go to the back post. Will they put it back for Glenong, who has a little bit of a tickle, but Saiful Nizam had it covered. You're watching live Sunday night AIA Singapore Premier League football. The 4th and final game of the weekend that's already seen the Stags beat the Eagles. The Swans thump the Jaguars, and the Cheetahs and the Young Lions share the spoils. Will it be the Sailors or the Tigers that emerge victorious here? The Sailors in front and the better side, but Balestier Khalsa in their pitching, and they will put what still is a bit of a suspect Lion City Sailors, what's the word, not temperament, but ability to beat sides in close games. You could level that at them in the game against Tampines, the game against Hougang and Albrechts as well. Balestier Khalsa not too far off that level. Nothing they could do about the 2 goals, just brilliant football from a bunch of brilliant footballers at the Lion City Sailors, but they've worked their way back into it with that Kiki Krajcek goal. Both teams playing a back 3 as well, so if they can get in behind, you'd expect opportunities to follow. Amarul. Kiki Krajcek close to him, and he nearly forced a mistake, but not quite. Gabriel Quack unable to control it, and Anik Raushan not doing anything wrong and not being able to get to that jumbo. Oh, that's a poor pass looking for Kiki. Amarul picks it up, Felipe and Chardin. 2.5 to go to the break. Diego Lopez. They scored right before half-time, remember, against both Geylang and against Albrechts in the last 2 matches. Another goal to make this 3-1 would put a very different complexion on this matchup. Lazibat not being given a moment's peace by Ahmed Shahir. Amarul. Being told there'll be 2 minutes of time added on for stoppages. Headed away by Bruno. Starting to maintain and build some pressure here, though. Gabriel Quack. Seems so long ago now. His 7th-minute strike opened the scoring. That's taken a deflection, and Saiful Nizam. Does he do enough to keep it out? No, he doesn't. It's gone behind for a corner, and that's not what they wanted. A 6th corner conceded right on the stroke of half-time. Chardin over to take it. Still got about 3 minutes to play this first half. Marko Kravic will be hoping he can get his team into the sheds, just a goal behind. Saifullah uses Chardin as a decoy. Saifullah for Felipe. His huge frame gets to that, but again can't keep the header down. Got his first goal with the header in Singapore football in the 2-2 draw against Albrechts. Officially, George Felipe assisted at 6'3", but I have to say, he looks taller than that as you get a glimpse of Aurelio Vidbar. He'll be happy enough, but not over the moon that they allowed Balestier to get back into it. And for the record, Koga, Takahiro Koga at Albrechts is 6'3" as well. So if anyone knows of a taller AIA Singapore Premier League player this season who's over 6'3", do let me know. Felipe looks taller than 6'3" when you see him out there. Oh, Zuzu getting the better of Anik Raushan on that occasion. Zuzu with a heavy touch, but he gets the deflection off Amarul, and he'll be looking for a corner here, which he won't get. Maybe a bit of kidology. You have to make do with a goal kick. Make your mind up here for yourself. Great camera work by our team on the ground. I think the referee's got that one spot on. Felipe. If they put the cue in the rack here, the Sailors, or are they hungry for more before the break? We're into the first of 2 minutes to be added on for stoppages.
2 minutes of added time.
Back to Hassan Sunny, George Felipe. Saifullah. Felipe. Diego Lopez is playing in a very advanced role. As he beat the offside line, he may have done, but the ball didn't reach him in any event. Kiki Krajcek again will be looking for Zuzu. I look at Gabriel Quack tracking back, but unfairly as it turned out. Kiki Krajcek takes it quickly. Good vision from Kiki. Nice footwork through the middle over the top for Zuzu. We've got a head to it, but there was no one really advancing. Armature here now trying to get the better of Glenn Ong and failing. Gareth Lowe's having a reasonably impressive game here. It's obviously the narrative that most of the possession in midfield goes through Kiki Krajcek and then Jumbo and Zuzu, who's been very involved, but Gareth Lowe's been a good supporting act. Now here's Gabriel Quack. This is right on half-time. This would be a disaster for the Tigers to concede right on the interval. Anik Roshan. They've got just under a minute to hold out here. Shardan. George Felipe. This is still a contest, by the way, if it's 2-1 at the break. Saifullah. Felipe. Glenn Ong, who continues to impress alongside Anik Roshan, the two debutants for the Sailors today. Injury problems to Noor Adam and Justin Hui. Saifullah again. Well, they're just happy to go into the break here, 2-1 in front in what's been a very entertaining first 45. And there's no question about it, the 3 highlights, 3 stunning goals here. As our referee, Mohamed Zakari, blows for half-time. And the story of the half, Gabriel Quack with a sublime strike, just 7 minutes in, volleying home, a wonderful cross from Naikudin. They made it 2 from a free kick score by Shardan, wonderfully placed beyond the despairing arms of Saiful Nizam, 80 minutes in, but just 7 minutes after that, Kiki Krajcek got Balestier back in the game, latching onto his own rebound to again score a stunning goal, getting it past Hassan Sunny. So at the break here, Sailors 2, Balestier Khalsa 1. Stay with us, a cracking second half in store. Pelaut di Jalan Besar, where we've had a cracker of the first 45 minutes. The Sailors leading the Tigers by 2-1. At one point, it looked like the Sailors could be in for a repeat of the kind of scoreline from when they beat Geylang 8-0 last week, but Balestier Khalsa, to their credit, fought to get back into the contest and did just that with Kiki Krajcek's goal. Well, let's look back at the first half highlights, and no question for me, the goal of the game so far. Wonderful cross from Naikudin. How about that with the left foot of Gabriel Quack? An absolute perler. 7 minutes in, and the Sailors lead, and it's easy. And quite right to wax lyrical about Gabriel Quack's finish, but the intricacy of that cross from Naikudin as well shouldn't be underestimated. Worth looking at from every angle. This goal, in fact, all 3 goals warrant special looks. Another chance came their way just 2 minutes later. Saifullah forcing a save out of Saiful Nizam. Not entirely sure it was on target, but Saiful Nizam did the right thing, pushing it behind. Saifullah Akbar amongst the goals last week against Geylang has looked lively, and a chance again. Balestier Khalsa, though, did create some chances of their own. Amateur here with his cross. Bashino first time with the left foot wide of the mark. So even at that point, they were still competitive, Balestier Khalsa. And they have been competitive, even though you'd say the Sailors marginally the better team. Balestier Khalsa are not here just to make up the numbers here tonight. What about this from a free kick from Shardan? Perfect placement. Not about power, that goal, all about precision. And Shardan off the mark with that strike. The man who is been in amongst the goals is Kiki Krajcek. Having seen one number 8 score, here's another one. Found some space here, Kiki Krajcek. He has Shardan with the initial block, and it bounced up nicely into the area. Shardan probably entitled to close him down a little bit better than he did. Here's another look at this. Yes, Shardan, once he makes the block, he kind of gets confused, I think, as to where the ball is. And bearing in mind how long it hung in the air, a bit of hang time there. Someone should have got close to Kiki before he could finish. But Kiki, nonetheless, with an exquisite finish. The first shot with the left, the second shot almost just lobbed over Hassan Sunny. Flicked on by Diego Lopez into the path of Plazibat. That chance 10 minutes before the break, and Saiful Nizam tipped it over. So, 3 goals. I fancy the promise of more, and believe me when I tell you, this isn't over as a contest yet, folks. The Sailors lead Balestier Khalsa by 2-1. As it stands, the Lion City Sailors are going second in the AIA Singapore Premier League tonight, but there is still 45 minutes to go of the first third of the season. The tail of the tape shows the Lion City Sailors dominating the shot count, but the only stat that will matter on 90 minutes is the one that will be appearing in the top left-hand of your corner of screen, the left-hand corner of your screen even, when we come back after this break. Second half on the way, stay with us. Live AIA Singapore Premier League Sunday Night Football. Sailors, Tigers, second half next.
choice you make. We are part of a global wellness program with over 1.65 million members in AIA across Asia. And in Singapore, we have more than 100,000 members on AIA Vitality. Members live healthier by knowing their health through online health assessments and screenings. They improve their health by logging exercises and enjoying the rewards to keep them going. And indeed, members are making improvements in their health. Even the vitality age gap has narrowed to less than a year. Best of all, you earn points for every activity. The higher your status, the greater the rewards, including up to 15% off insurance premium on selected AIA plans. To keep you going, there is the weekly fitness challenge with personalized targets to help pace and improve your fitness. When you complete the challenge, you get a spin on the Vitality Wheel to earn Vitality Coins, which you can use at the marketplace. That's not all. You also earn AIA Vitality Points for completing these activities. And very soon, you'll be on your way to Platinum status. And we sweeten the deal further with many exciting partner benefits that you can enjoy. With AIA Vitality, nothing gets better than a healthier you. So get onto AIA Vitality today because your health is every choice you make.
Back live. We're live at the Jalan Besar Stadium. Second half about to get underway. Lion City Sailors leading by 2-1 at the break. I'm being told of one change we do know about. Remains to be seen whether Glenong and Anik Roshan stay on the field of play. But we're being told Jumbo Hoshino is going to be replaced by Hazwan Halim. So tactically, that's an interesting change. But I'm assuming it's coming about because maybe of a knock to Shuhei Hoshino. That remains to be seen, but it is going to lead to a slight tactical reshuffle without the second big man up top from Balestier Khalsa. See if Marco's got it right. Well, the good news for supporters of youngsters getting the experience is Anik Roshan is coming out for the start of the second half, as is Glenong. Great to see they're both on the field of play. So it doesn't appear that Aurelio Vidmar is going to his substitutes bench at half-time, and that's a boost for those two youngsters. And the game that's still on the line here, only leading by 2-1. He's not putting the trigger on any half-time substitutions. By the looks of things, Aurelio Vidmar. Marko Krajovic is, though, whether it's by force or choice. And we will very shortly see Hazwan Halim enter the field of play. Warm welcome if you're just joining us, as you get a chance to see Hazwan about to come on. You're watching live Sunday Night Football, the AIA Singapore Premier League at Jalan Besar on a very cool, calm night here in Singapore. It's Lion City Sailors who know if they win, they'll go second with a third of the season gone against Balestier Khalsa, who, even if they were to come back and win this, aren't able to improve their position, but they'll certainly close the gap on the teams above them. They'll join Lion City Sailors on 11 points in fourth, but unless they win this by 11 clear goals, the Sailors will have a better goal difference. So, all hands on deck, as it says in that stand over on the far side for the Lion City Sailors. Confirmation that Jumbo is replaced by Hazwan Halim, and the two youngsters remain for the Sailors. Our referee had a good first half, Mohamed Zakari, about to get the match restarted, with the Sailors in the white-blue shorts playing from right to left in this second stanza, and the Tigers in the red-black socks playing left to right. Remember, rearranged match day next weekend where 250 fans will be allowed in. Get those tickets booked online regardless of whether you've had the vaccination. There'll be no pre-match requirements next weekend. And just to remind you of those 4 games on Saturday. Next week it's Hougang Lion City Sailors. A repeat of that game here back in March that Hougang won 3-1. Chanchong Pagar United and Tampines Interesting game for the Stags next Saturday. Balestier Khalsa Alberix on Sunday and Young Lions Scaling International also on Sunday. All games now for the next 3 weeks, kicking off at 8:30 p.m. to accommodate our Ramadan festival for our Muslim brothers and sisters. Here's Amarul. Naikudin. What a cross that was that laid on that goal for Quack in the 7th minute. Oh, that's a good steal. Haswan Halim straight into the action. Catches Naikudin napping. Look at the run from Zuzu trying to support. Haswan. Throw went the other way. I'm not entirely sure the ball even went out of play there, but regardless, Haswan's trick of trying to take the throw before the assistant referee can make the mind up backfires, and Naikudin is back in possession. George Felipe. Oh, George Felipe's a big bloke, and Zuzu nearly bundled him over. He's forced a mistake. Arish Kumar, they wanted handball, they're not getting it. Kiki Krajcek, header from Zuzu. Krajcek again! Well, he's got an eye for goal, and how. Already got his 4th of the season tonight, and that wasn't a million miles away. Hassan Sunny, in fairness, I think, had a good eye on it and was just happy to see it drift to the left-hand side of his goal. He did stand off Kiki Krajcek, didn't learn their lesson from the first half there. Well, Balestier spoiling the short goal kick routine. Arish Kumar is up, and here's Haswan Halim again. Haswan Halim off the back of Felipe. Stipe to Diego Lopez, and Gabriel Quack's onside. He's beat the offside line. Gabriel Quack, Stipe in support. Quack, Plazibat, 3-1 Sailors. It's taken them less than 100 seconds to increase their lead, and as Balestier pushed forward for the equaliser, they got caught out. Wonderful vision and timing of the pass and run from Lopez and Quack. And as Plazibat's done so many times for Gabriel Quack, Quack returns the favour. In both phases of that play, the timing of the pass was oh so important. Lopez got it spot on to Quack, and Quack just about got it spot on to Stipe Plazibat. And now the Sailors have their 2-goal cushion restored. And Stipe Plazibat has his 8th of the season, 3 behind Tomoyuki Doi of Hougang now. And that has to please Vidmar, the relationship that Plazibat and Quack have. Kiki Krajcek. Now Balestier Khalsa needs to go back to the drawing board. 1+ for them though, just prior to conceding that goal. Haswan Halim had an impact since his introduction already. Saiful Nizam. Akil Yazid. They've lost out. Saiful has come away with it. And here's Stipe waiting for support. He's got Naikudin down the left. Stipe follows through. I think it's a judge to have fouled Fadley. It's gone the other way. Oh, they think they've got the free kick. It's gone to the Sailors. A bit befuddled is Akil Yazid. They take it quickly, Naikudin. If they were to get a 4th here in quick time, this could still get a little bit ugly for Balestier Khalsa, you fancy. Marco downstairs looking a little bit frustrated now. It looked through the early seconds of the first half that change had given them some attacking impetus, but the Sailors are just so quick in breaking, very much like Alberix. They can go coast to coast in a matter of seconds. Lovely pass from Chardin over to that far side. Here's the debut boy, Anik Roshan. Losing possession, Glenong. Kiki Krajcek bringing it out. Kiki Krajcek's over the top for Zuzu. Zuzu onside, yes he is. He's going to need some help though, Zuzu. Or is he? And they'll win a free kick. Anik Roshan just got caught out a couple of times in the opening seconds of this second half. I wonder if it might be Anik Roshan and Glenong who come already of Vidmar's first changes. No midweek round, of course, this week, so there's no question about wrapping players up in cotton wool. Big game for them next Saturday when they'll play on a grass pitch for the first time this season. Well, that's speculative and over the bar. Yeah, if you aren't familiar with the AIA Singapore Premier League, just 2 of the grounds have a grass surface, those being Topayo, the home of Balestier Khalsa, and Hougang Stadium, the home of Hougang. And of course, The Sailors have played the home matches against those two teams in the first round. So that trip to Hougang will be their first experience of grass. Just to give you an education, if you're new to the AIA Singapore Premier League, Jalan Besar, the home of the Sailors and the Young Lions. Our Tampines Hub, the home of Geylang and Tampines Rovers. Tepai, the home of Balestier. And Hougang Stadium of Hougang International. Saifullah into the area. This is danger. Saifullah! He deserves a goal, the youngster. He's been a bright spark for the first 50 minutes of this match. He went close twice in the opening stanza, and he's got the better of Saiful Nizam there. He's a youngster with a real eye for goal, Saifullah Akbar, and he's now got his second goal in as many games. 2 for the season for Saifullah. Lovely right foot finish, bending it around the despairing dive of Saiful Nizam.
Scoring goal number 4 for Sailors, 17, Saifullah.
And this is where it could get ugly. They've done very well, Balestier, to keep it tight going into half-time, but 2 goals in the first 5 minutes of the second half, and the Sailors, if they have the feel for it, could one right, you fancy. They've still got the likes of Adam Swandy, Faris Ramley on the bench, Hafiz Noor, Song Uyong, goals everywhere. You look on the substitutes bench, and they've managed to get 4 with an injury hit starting 11 already. And going back to my little rough guide to the AIA Singapore Premier League, before Saifullah Akbar scored that great goal, Jurong East, the home of Tanjung Pagar United, and Albrechts Negata, the defending champions, which is also an artificial surface. Chip pass over the top. By Akil Yazid. Here's Anik Roshan. Great confidence shown by Aurelio Vidmar at half-time to keep Anik Roshan and Glenong in. Much then they'll last the 90 minutes, but when the game's still a little bit in the balance, you keep those 2 youngsters on, and they're part of a team that then really put the game to bed in the first 7 minutes of the second half. It'll do great for their confidence, and that's what you need when you're blooding youngsters. Bring them along and get some confidence behind them. Shardan. Well, Balestier Khalsa's head started to drop here. They were very aggressive and competitive before those 2 early goals came in the second half. Look at the run of Naikudin. Well, Shardan didn't see it, unfortunately. Diego Lopez, Gabriel Quack, Lopez, back to Gabriel Quack, inside to Stipe. And Bruno trying to guide it back to the keeper. There was a slight hesitation from Saiful Nizam that nearly caused them a problem. Akil Rashid sends it long. Marco Kravic has just asked his substitutes bench to go and warm up, so there could be more changes on the way for Balestier Khalsa. There's a couple of the substitutes for the Sailors deep in their pre-match routine as Gabriel Quack gets on the end of a delightful ball. He's got Glenong in the middle. Can he get it to Glenong? Gets it to Lopez! Just wide. We had a hat-trick last week, and Diego Lopez with his best opportunity to get on the score sheet so far today, and it did take a deflection. Wonderful ball in to Gabriel Quack. Yeah, Glenong, Stipe, and Diego Lopez. Oh, what happened there? Did Saiful Nizam get a touch on this, or is it taking a deflection on the way through? I think it took a deflection on the way through off one of the 2 Balestier Khalsa players trying to close him down. Delivered in, and infringement spotted. Amaral's attempt to get it back across the goal comes to nothing. Amaral, I think you have to say it's advantage to the Singaporean in the battle against Zuzu. The creation has given as good as he's got, but both he and Kiki Krychek have at times just been a bit overwhelmed. Marko Kravic's plan to try and stifle the midfield of the Lion City Sailors. If anything, the Sailors probably employed more long balls today than I've seen so far this season. That example of that ball through to Quack to lay on the goal for Stipe, an example of that. Oof, that's a strong challenge into the back of Anik Roshan. And look at the youngster, does really well to battle back. Stipe, Shardan, Diego Lopez wants it, Diego Lopez gets it. Saifullah Akbar on the overlap, and Diego Lopez has his pocket pinched. But Naikudin helps him by getting it one back. Lopez through the middle. Shot from Glenn Ong, who's getting in more advanced positions. Maybe he thinks his number's about to come up and he wants to get on the score sheet before he bows out after a very impressive opening appearance. Here's Fadley. Back from Gareth Lowe, who's not been able to be as effective as he was certainly in the opening half. Gareth Lowe over the top, Zuzu up against Felipe. Naikudin tracking back and happy just to send it out for a throw. Well, doesn't want to do anything stupid. And speaking of which, this is a situation where the last thing the Sailors want to do is pick up a needless red card ahead of their game at Hougang, as they did in that Young Lions match that they won 3-1. Arish Kumar. Over the top, looking for Quack again. Not entirely sure that Adil Jahari knew much about that, but he did enough to stop it getting to Gabriel Quack. He knew that was an opportunity. There's a slice clearance from Shardan that almost caused an issue. Glenong, Saifullah. Now Shardan. Lopez. Game stopping to walking pace, and we're only 12 minutes into the second half here. If the Sailors feel like going through the gears, you fancy they can get more goals. It's whether Aurelio Vidmar's that way inclined, of course. In the position they're in here, he might want to give Anik Roshan or Glenn Ong even longer on the pitch than an hour. We'll soon find out. You can see down on the substitutes bench, Akari Abdullah warming up. Saifullah, scorer of the fourth goal. Goals from Gabriel Quack, Shardan, Stipe and Saifullah. Glenn Ong, lovely flick from Glenn Ong. Lopez leaves it for Saifullah. Well, what a passage of play to demonstrate the understanding between the Lion City Sailors that was. And Glenn Ong, a real part of it as well. What an impressive debut he's having. Well, last week in the 8-0 win against Geylang, Quack got a brace, Plazabot got a brace, Saifullah got one and Lopez got three. The only one of those four players who hasn't scored today so far is Lopez. Here's Gareth Lowe, Gareth Lowe! When those opportunities come up, you've got to take them or at least force Hassan Sunny to work. In truth, I'm trying to recall a save Hassan Sunny's had to make. He obviously had to pick the ball out the back of the net after Kiki's good effort, but he hasn't really had to pull off any saves. Hassan Sunny takes it short. Amaral looking for Gabriel Quack. That's well watched out by Adil Jahari. They take the throw. Back to Ensar Bruncevic. Gareth Lowe. Arish Kumar. Arish Kumar looking for Fadley. Well, I think that was just a well-timed challenge from Fadley to put Naikudin off. Naikudin asking for a decision, but it's not going to get one. Also warming up quite intensively is Sogol Yong for the Sailors, so I suppose Song for Glenong and Akari for Anik Roshan would be the obvious double change that could be on the way. Here's Kiki Krycek. Oh, tried to send it through to Haswan, but Felipe watched it well, and Saifullah Akbar's got empty space of green in front of him. He's got Diego Lopez in support as well. Good tracking back from Fadli and from Arish Kumar. He still finds a pass though, finds Glenong, who tries to get it into Diego Lopez. And Balestier belted away. Well, Aurelio Vidmar. Must be delighted with Glenong and Anik Roshan. Oh, Gabriel Quack, what a handful he is. And in the end, Bruno does well just to shield that out for a goal kick. The referee wants a word as well, I think. Maybe just with both players. No yellow cards showed in this game so far, but Quack and Bruno just being spoken to. He wants to get them together in a little huddle to kiss and make up. Oh, just a little bit of hands all over each other, but I think he might have been concerned that Insar had a arm across Quack there. Sensible refereeing, just carving a potential flashpoint down. Meanwhile, back with Saiful Nizam. Ensar. Bruncevic gets it to Akil Yazid. And obviously, the attention's put on Glenong and Anik Roshan because they're on the team that are winning 4-1, but Akil Yazid and Adil Jahari, two youngsters have had their moments as well. Oh, there could be the first card. Shardan is going to see yellow. So Shardan into the book, and now he has to be careful. If he ends up getting sent off and suspended for the Hougang game, I'm sure Aurelio Vidmar will be furious. Change is on the way for the Lion City Sailors, but it'll be made after Balestier have a chance to launch a sortie. To try, as vain as it may be, to get back into this. That's the decision here. Balestier want the corner. They're not going to get it. I'm just looking down there. Is Naikudin suffering a little bit? Change is coming. There's a change coming from Balestier Khalsa as well. So both teams getting ready to make their change. Coming on for Balestier will be Faisal Rafi. Faisal Rafi amongst the goals in that 4-0 win against Tanjong Pagar. And coming on for the Sailors will be Song Woo-yong, and he is a goal-scoring threat. Incredible to think he's struggling for match time this season, very much like Adam Swandy. Such is the strength and depth that the Sailors have. George Felipe. Diego Lopez waits as Stipe Plazabat brings it forward. He gets it to Saifullah Akbar on the turn. Who gets it to Naikudin? Naikudin takes it back to Shardan. Shardan to Anik Roshan. And Gabriel Quack just about keeps that in, does well. Gabriel Quack, Plazibat, Saiful Nizam does well. So Song Woo-yong for the Sailors and Faisal Rafi for Balestier about to enter the fray. I'm interested to see who the Sailors are going to replace, because I saw already Vidmar maybe just changing his substitution plans, potentially asking Naikudin if he was okay. But no, I'm being told it will be Glenong that makes way for Song Woo-yong. which obviously makes sense. Shardan. Naikudin. Stipe finds Lopez. Gabriel Quack in an advanced position, as is Glennon. Can Glennon get on the score sheet just before he's taken off? That would be something special. Make it a debut to remember. Amaral. Ball's got to get that play before they can make the substitution, and the Sailors have strung about 30 odd passes together here. Saifullah, Gabriel Quack. Suggestion of a push in the back, nothing given, and Haswan Halim can bring it away. Kiki Krajcek. Oh, Gabriel Quack's picked his pocket. Gabriel Quack, Stipe ahead of him. Lopez also moving up, and Quack had ended up maybe taking one touch too many. Shardan, the Sailors still get it back though. Saifullah. Shardan. Saifullah. To Naikudin. Shardan. George Felipe. Stipe. Oh, that's a loose pass from Glenong, and if that's his last contribution, it's not his best one. Oh, Felipe has been looped over there, and Zuzu will keep this in. Now, where's the support coming? In red shirts. Sime Zuzu's done Felipe. Zuzu into the area, to the pylon, squares it, and Hassan Sunny does just enough. Wonderful run, showing the strength and determination of Zuzu, but there was just not enough support there helping him out. No obvious pass. He ended up effectively having to go for goal. Haswan, who's only been playing for 20 minutes, and Kiki Krajcek not doing really enough to attack the edge of that 6-yard box, and he tried to catch Hassan Sunny out. Singapore's number one did enough. Naikudin, Saifullah. Felipe. Gabriel Quack. Still, these changes can't be made because the ball's not gone dead. They've been waiting to make these changes for about 3 minutes now. And so Glenong's Lion City Sailors curtain raiser is going to go on a little bit longer than even he imagined. George Felipe. Wouldn't it be something magical if the youngster could score just before he was about to be hooked? He's played his part and he's not looked out of place. That's a compliment you can pay him in a squad packed full of local and international stars. Glenong and Anik Roshan have played more than their part. Lovely touch, Diego Lopez gets it back from Shardan. Shardan to Gabriel Quack, and now the substitutions will be made as Ensar bangs that out. So first up for Balestier Khalsa, Arish Kumar will be the man replaced by Faisal Rafi. And confirmation that Glennog, after a wonderful debut, is replaced by Song All Yong. Good game, Glenn. Nice hug from Vidmar as well. They're all pleased with him. So Song All Yong, as I say, struggling for game time, but still managing to score goals for fun, already with 3 this season. George Felipe now trying to bring it out from the back. Felipe's been called out once or twice, but nowhere near the misplaced passes that were a feature of the game against Albirex, as Amaral, who's had a good game and essentially kept Zuzu quiet for the most part, brings them away. Lopez, Gabriel Quack. Oh, he was caught very hard there, Gabriel Quack. That might be another yellow card, is it? No, they'll escape the yellow. But they will concede a free kick in a dangerous position. Gabriel Quack was clattered into there by Adel Jahari. Too far out to have a poke for goal here from Shardan, surely. But George Felipe, who Ensar Bruncevic is picking up, is going to be a handful all season long from these positions. And don't rule out the diminutive Saifullah at the back stick. Cross comes in, Felipe gets up. Firm header away from Ensar. Still the Lion City Sailors possession in the final third though. Saifullah, nice turn Saifullah. Amaral. Back from Song Yong, his first touch in the game. Anik Roshan. Naikudin. Into the final 20 minutes we trot. There's only been 2 goals in the second half. I say only. They've both been scored by the Lion City Sailors, and both came inside the first 5 minutes of the stanza. Stipe Plazabat and Saifullah Akbar adding to Gabriel Quack and Shardan's first half goals. The goal scored by Balestier Khalsa 25 minutes in from Kiki Krajcek. But surely the Sailors are home and hosed here. Just a question if they fancy putting down the afterburners and getting more. They are passing Balestier Khalsa at times off the park. Shardan to Amaral. Amaral to Anik Roshan. Shardan. Song Uyong. Oh, Balestier Khalsa can't get near the ball at the moment. Amaral. Just chasing shadows. George Felipe. Oh, look at that touch from Saifullah. Lovely from Saifullah. Song Uyong. Well, that would have been something else if it had led to a goal. Saifullah Akbar, another candidate for the most improved player in the division this season. Let's have a look at that touch from Saifullah Akbar again if we can, because I don't think it was easy to appreciate in real time. It might look even more special in slow motion. Look at that. Didn't quite get it there, but you saw what he did. The vision to pick out Song Uyong with that back flick. Something special as we take in the water break, and obviously it broke down. So, 4-1 here with 2 goals in the second half. Let's look back on the 2 goals in the second stanza. Wonderful quick break from the Sailors. Gabriel Quack could easily have gone for goal himself. Lovely side foot pass to Stipe Plazabat, who won't score an easier goal all season. He's now clear second in the Golden Boot race with 8-3 behind Tomoyuki Doi, and there's still 80 minutes to go here. So Saifullah Akbar with a lovely run and a lovely curl finish past Saiful Nizam, who's been beaten 4 times this afternoon. Now, Faris Ramli is about to get some game time. Scored his first goal back in Singapore in the 5-2 win against Tanjung Pagar from the penalty spot. He'll be replacing Gabriel Quack, who I'd imagine is being given a breather by Aurelio Vidmar after another fantastic performance from Quack, with maybe next Saturday's game in mind at Hougang. So Faris Ramli on.
Faris Ramli.
Gabriel Quack's goal in the 7th minute remains the highlight of the game for me. After that cross from Naikudin, Gabriel Quack volleying it from just inside the area. Saiful Nizam no chance, and there's been some good goals amongst the 5 scored today as well, but Gabriel Quack's 7th minute opener, the pick of them for me. Quack departs having got his 7th of the season. He's only 1 behind Plazibat now. And of course he'll pick up an assist for laying that goal on for Plazibat today as well. So let's see what Faris Ramli can do. Difficult when you're not getting too much game time, but he's taken up position over on that right-hand side, previously occupied by Gabriel Quack, the man he replaced. Here's Diego Lopez. Lopez has been understated but effective today. I think that's a good way of describing it. Here's a man, Anik Roshan, that's also been effective, coming in for his debut at right back, playing well. Hassan Sunny, good pass that, well weighted because it was a little bit risky. Diego Lopez, if the weighting of that pass from Hassan Sunny had been wrong, it could have broken down quite quickly. Adel Jahari just got caught in possession momentarily. Here's Diego Lopez, finds Faris Ramli, only Saifullah in the area for now. Stipe joins him, as does Diego Lopez, gets it back to Song Uyong. Song Uyong brought down late by Hazwan Halim. And is this going to be another yellow? It is. So Hazwan picks up a yellow for his trouble. And it's going to be the end of the afternoon stroke evening for Adel Jahari. He's going to be replaced by Gautam Selvamani. So Gautam Selvamani in for Adel Jahari.
Substitution for Balestier Khalsa, 55, AIA Johari.
Well, Song Yong
15,
is looked over. Chardin over it. Now this is just about in shooting range. It wasn't a powerful effort that he scored with his free kick early in the first half. I think this is going to require a bit of power, rather precision, if you're hoping of scoring from it. Gortam Selvamani's appearance for AIA Johari is confirmed. Playing a high line on the edge of the box for Balestier Khalsa. What have they got up their sleeves here? Chardin and Song over it. Song, little bit of a trick play to try and find Faris Ramli. Ramli gets it back to Song. Chardin in the middle. Steep pace, drop deep as well. Naikudin. He's got Suzu hassling him. But with the objective of getting the 3 points already achieved, really, at 4-1 with 15 to play, the Sailors almost toying with Balestier Khalsa now. We're going to get a look at Akari Abdullah. He's coming on, and if he's coming on for Anik Roshan, I'm not sure, but he is coming on. We'll find out in a minute. And he is. Well, Anik Roshan, it's such a shame there aren't fans in the stadium, but nevertheless, he's getting a warm round of applause, which I shall join in, because that was some debut, along with Glenong. Anik Roshan has looked at home in the AIA Singapore Premier League, and a wonderful debut. Great 76 minutes, and Vidmar embraces him as well. And I think it's easy to have been a little bit critical, pick holes in some of the results that the Lion City Sailors have had in recent weeks, some of the defensive lapses. But you can't argue with 8-0 1 week and 4-1 and counting the next, and some of the stylish football they've played against a decent team in Balestier Khalsa. Like, no one's suggesting Balestier Khalsa are title contenders, but they're a decent unit that will give teams problems. And they gave the Lion City Sailors problems in the first half, but they've just been too strong for them in the second stanza. And Vidmar will be happy with their performance, albeit he'll be disappointed they couldn't bag their third clean sheet of the campaign. Amaral. Diego Lopez. Chardin. Lopez. Song Yong. Oh, Felipe, that's another misplaced pass. The Brazilian's got to cut that out from his game, and Haswan latches onto it. Kiki Krajcek. Back to Haswan, who's got pace to burn, but the ball just goes in favour of Naikudin, who gets it out for a throw. But George Felipe, like in the game against Alberex, his distribution, I suppose it's easy. You could mitigate to take your concentration levels down with 12 minutes to go and your team leading 4-1, but that's not what the big players who get the big bucks do, and he falls into that category. Kiki. And Kiki Krajcek trying a trick or two that comes to nothing, and all of a sudden Diego Lopez is away like a flash. He's got Plazimat. Faris Ramli's herring up on the right-hand side as well. Song Yong arrives too. Plazimat, multiple options in the middle. And Faris Ramli will be furious because of having burnt jets to get in support of Plazimat. The cross is not of the quality that we're used to seeing from the Croatian. Did well to keep the ball in. Maybe that's what tired him out, because the cross when it came wasn't a great delivery. So Saifan Nizam will send it long from the goal kick. Kiki Krajcek competes for it but loses out. Song Yong, Saifula. Looks like the kind of player that just wants to run at defender. Saifula plays in Plazimat. Faris Ramli arriving again. Plazimat, has he been scorer? Now he can be provider. Not this time. Couldn't find Diego Lopez. Naikudin loses out to Zuzu there. Zuzu, Chardin coming back, and a good tackle from George Felipe. Cut Zuzu off at the pass. Now they come with Akari. Using all three substitutes now are the Sailors. Chested down by Ensar, straight in the way of Chardin! And Saiful Nizam was taking no chances, just parried that behind for a corner. So, all 6 substitutes, 3 from each team now on the field of play. The 22 you're watching will be the 22 that finish. And the only question that remains to be answered, really, is are we going to get any more goals than the 5 we've seen? 5 goals of the highest quality. If there is going to be another one, you have to say it heavily favours the Sailors to get it. Oh, nice work over on that far side by Saifullah. Heads up, Plazibat! And Faris Ramley very nearly stole in the 6-yard box to apply a finishing touch there. Saiful Nizam just managing to gather it in. Kiki. Song Young with a rather obvious foul. Krychek over the top looking for Gautam Selvamani. Here's George Felipe. Saifullah, who's put in, we're not far off a man of the match performance, to be fair, Saifullah. So many contenders for the Sailors today. Gabriel Quack, obviously. Stipe's in the conversation, as is, let's face it, Anik Roshan, but that would be a rather sentimental pick on the context of it being his debut. Here's Saifullah, another goal for Saifullah, and he can wrap up the man of the match award here. Gets it out wide. Akari. Song Young, just getting it back to Amarul. Shardan. Near side is Naikudin. Shardan. George Felipe. Squares it to Amarul. Song Young. Oh, Faris Ramley. Very nearly threaded through. A smart pass to Akari. He's going to chase Saiful Nizam down here. Saiful Nizam. They're swarming all over Balestier now, the Lion City Sailors. And even when Balestier do get into enemy territory, it tends to be breaking down far quicker than it was in the first half, where they did enjoy flashes of pressure. Not too many, but enough to keep you competitive into half-time. Lopez inside to Shardan. Shardan gets it out wide. Faris Ramley's waiting in the middle. Akari's there. Saifullah. Stipe Plazibat. Belted away by Ensar. Naikudin. George Felipe holds up well against the fellow big man in Zuzu. Can't anticipate there being more than 3 or 4 minutes to be added on at the end of this as things stand. Faris Ramley, how he'd like to get his second goal back in Singapore tonight. Shardan. Oh, that's a loose pass, a rare loose pass from Stipe, and Kike picks it up. Balestier, to their credit, still rotoring. Haswan. Fadley's made a run to try and get back on the end of this, which means they're going to be caught short at the back if this breaks down. Here's Faisal Rafi. And that's something to nothing, and Hassan Sunny can gather. Final 7 minutes. Haven't had a goal now for over half an hour, bearing in mind the 2 goals in the second half came inside the first 5 minutes of the opening exchanges in the second half. Oh, Diego Lopez, nice work. Gets the better of Faisal Rafi. Still Diego Lopez. Square ball Shardan. He's got Naikudin and Saifullah Akbar ahead of him. Gets it back to Lopez. But they're just toying now. It's almost like a training ground exercise. It's like watching the players warm up when they're passing it to each other in the middle of the park. Bit of penetration now, though. Fadley gets the head, or the referee's in the way there. And the referee will have to bring them back because this will have to result in a drop ball. Referee getting caught in the crossfires. He's had a decent game, the referee. Mohamed Zakari. Kept his cards in his pocket for the most part. Just one yellow card shown to Haswan Halim and one to Shardan. Oh, Zuzu's away. Gets the better of Song. Zuzu, Kiki in support. Zuzu Needs help here, Zuzu, or can he go on his own? Zuzu! Didn't miss by much, but miss it did. Hassan Sunny. Well, the Sailors now just want to get to Hougang next week and try and attract their revenge against the Cheetahs, who beat them so soundly here by 3-1 in March. Up next for Balestier Khalsa is a tricky trip. It doesn't get any easier. The next 3 games for Balestier Khalsa: home against Albrechts, away at Hougang, away at Tampines. So they've got a tricky run coming up, the Tigers. But just about seen enough here to suggest they'll give at least a couple of problems to those 3 teams who are placed above them in the table. Wouldn't be surprised if they get something from one of those 3 games. Here's George Felipe. Oh, that's a loose touch. Felipe a little bit lackadaisical again. Haswan Halim. He's found space for Zuzu, who was expecting a run that didn't come from Kiki. And Amarul ends up just knocking it out for a throw. You know, a difficult position Balestier Khalsa are in here because they know that the game is up. They're not going to be getting anything from this one. But the Sailors have just taken their feet off the gas here. Ahmed Shahir working hard. Akil Yazid, the 17-year-old youngest player on the pitch, is going to go the full 90 minutes. He's not disgraced himself. Faisal Rafi. Give a Haswan Halim, but George Felipe's there this time, gets it to Song Yong. And now the Sailors will try and build from the back with Saifullah, who gets it back to Hassan Sunny. Hassan Sunny goes long, only finds Gareth Lowe though. And the ball comes to Kiki Krajcek. Krajcek, oh, Haswan just wrong-footed at the crucial moment. And now there's a player down over on that far side. Is it Ahmad Shahir with a little bit of cramp? We'll find out in a moment for you. Here's another look. I think he was onside. I don't think that was it from Haswan Halim. I think he just got a little bit flat-footed. This is the first real injury stoppage we've had over on that far side, which doesn't bode well. It's not cramp, I don't think, the way he's holding the leg. And this will mean we'll probably get another minute or 2 added on at the end of the 90. Faris Ramley's worked hard since he's come on, so hard. I mean, it's obviously a joy to be in this Lion City Sailors squad, but when you're not in the starting 11, trying to get decent game time can be tricky. Just maybe had his foot stepped on there, did he? Looks like he's going to be okay to continue, Ahmed Shahir. Just that left ankle causing him a bit of problems. And have to go off to come back on again, of course. And now the referee will restart, I think, with a drop ball. He will, and Hassan Sunny can just pick up where he left off. Here's George Felipe. Ahmed Shahir is back on the field of play. Is there a final goal in this? Diego Lopez. Song Yong. Lopez squares to Shardan. Song. Lopez. No, they're just running the clock down at this point, aren't they, the Sailors? Naikudin. Saifullah, nice square ball. Well, they've opened them up here maybe finally with Song Yong. If he can find Diego Lopez. Song Yong gets away from his man. Here is Diego Lopez. Lopez, can he get on the end of it? Lovely touch, Lopez through to Plazibat! What a shame, the flag's up, it won't count. Because that was a beautiful team goal. Diego Lopez isn't convinced it was offside. I wouldn't mind seeing the replay. But after all that side-to-side passing, which almost put me in a trance, it did the same to Balestier Khalsa, and they're opened up. Now, is this the right decision? Keep an eye on Plazibat. It is the correct decision, I fancy. Good officiating over on that far side. It's a shame because it would have been a wonderful goal to bring the curtain down on a great game after some great fancy footwork from Lopez and some quick feet from Plazibat as well. It won't count. Handball against Naikudin as we tick round to the 90. 3 minutes of time to be added on for stoppages, which will be a relief, I think, for Balestier Khalsa rather than the Sailors. But the way he's shaping up here, Kiki, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a pop here. He's going to leave it, so that means there won't be a pop at goal here. Confirmation that there will be 3 minutes of time added on for stoppages. Haswan Halim needs to dink this around about the penalty spot. Haswan, decent delivery, flicked on. Krychek's there. Too many white shirts around him to try the spectacular. And look at this from Diego Lopez. And all of a sudden, Faris Ramley could be away at the races. It's 4-on-2 in the Sailors' favour. Is this the chance to get the 5th goal? Saifullah leaves it to Song. Song pulls it back. Over on the far side is Stipe. Oh, he's blasted it over. Well, another example of how they can go coast to coast in less time than it takes Usain Bolt to run 100 metres. 4-on-2 they had there. It did break down after Saifullah just miscontrolled. Sogoyun got it to Stipe, had all the time in the world, fashioned the chance for the left foot shot, but blasted it over. And it's starting to be a scoreline 4-1 that flatters Balestier Khalsa rather than the Lion City Sailors. And after those 2 games last season that finished 7-1 to the Sailors and 5-2, Balestier Khalsa are going to be beaten by the Lion City Sailors once again. Haswan Halim, another free kick with 90 seconds to play. The Sailors couldn't get a 5th goal exclamation mark, and the Tigers get a 2nd goal consolation. Haswan. Haswan, Fadley, nice idea. But Shardan was across covering, or Amarul, I should say. Good game, Amarul, to get it clear. Nice idea from Fadley. Needed someone to attack it, really. Didn't commit to it fully there, Zuzu. Kiki with the throw. Into the final 60 seconds we trot. Zuzu goes down on the deck, and Stipe helps bring it away. With Diego Lopez is in an advanced position here. And away goes Saifullah. Lopez ahead of him. And it's got all the way through, has it? Yes, it has, to Faris Ramley. Lopez in front of him. Faris Ramley to round it off. Ramley back to Song. And the shot blocked by Bruno. And then the flag up for offside. Well, the biggest mystery in this one is how we haven't had a 6th goal in the game in the closing minutes, because the Sailors could have had another 3 quite easily. Nice back lift to leave it for Song, whose shot was blocked. And that was despite the fact that Song initially got in the ball that was intended for Faris Ramley. Little back heel to Song, Ensar does well. Oh, that's an air shot. Zuzu gets possession. Zuzu, nice turn from Zuzu. Zuzu squares it to Kiki Krychek. Inside to Zuzu, edge of the area. Heavy touch, but Haswan's there. Oh, just wide. And that will be the last action of what's been an enthralling 93 and a bit minutes. The Sailors have won by 4-1, 2-0 up inside the first 18. A fine strike, goal of the month contender from Gabriel Quack, followed by another goal of the month contender free kick from Shardan. Kiki Krychek with another cracking goal made it 2-1, so it was interesting at half-time. But 2 devastating strikes inside the first 5 minutes of the second half. It secured the points for the Sailors. Plazibat with his 8th of the season, 2 minutes in to the second stanza, and then Saifullah Akbar with another cracker after his goal last week, just 4 minutes after that. The Sailors could easily have had 5, 6, maybe even 7, and they go second in the AIA Singapore Premier League tonight after winning by 4-1. Here's that Gabriel Quack cracker after just 6 minutes, after good work down the left by Naikudin. That was 1-0. Another look at the cross from Naikudin and a stunning shot by Gabriel Quack, who ratchets up his 8th goal of the campaign. Some strike that from Shardan, and a fine way to open his account for the season. Wonderful free kick, all about precision rather than power. That the right foot effort beating Saiful Nizam all ends up. But going into half-time, Balestier would still be competitive thanks to this from Kiki Krajicek. The first shot with the left foot blocked by Shardan. No one near him, so he just delicately adjusts with his right foot and beats Hassan Sunny. Still trying to work out whether there's question marks over the keeping. There might be a little bit harsh to suggest so. But Kiki Krajicek, with his fourth of the campaign, a delightful finish that. That was the end of the scoring in the first half, but it was that 5-minute blitz at the start of the second that ultimately secured the destiny of their points to the Lion City Sailors. Just 120 seconds into the second stanza, wonderful ball from Lopez, sent away Gabriel Quack, who was onside. He side-footed it to Stipe Plazibat, who won't score an easier goal this season. He's now just 3 behind Tomoyuki Doi in the race for the Golden Boot. Gabriel Quack doing Plazibat what Plazibat's done for he so often. What a great pairing they make. And Vidmar had the luxury of wrapping up Quack in cotton wool with 15 minutes to play ahead of their trip to Hougang next weekend. And last but by no means least, Saifullah Akbar, who was a candidate for the man of the match, played in by Plazibat. Still had so much to do here, but got inside Fadli and beat Saiful Nizam for another cracker. You could argue all 5 goals of a very high quality here at Jalan Besar this evening. A reminder, 250 fans let in to the games next weekend. Get down to your local AIA Singapore Premier League ground. Go to the AIA Singapore Premier League social media channels and website to book your tickets. Hougang Sailors next Saturday. Tanjung Pagar United Tampines next Saturday. Balestier Khalsa Alberex next Sunday. And the Young Lions Galing International. There's the tape of the tape. Doesn't really do the Lion City Sailors justice that. They were good value for a 4-1 win. Just the 1 yellow card apiece. Shardan for the Sailors and Haswan for Balestier Khalsa. So let's have a look at the results for round 7 as the league is officially 1/3 of the way in. The Stags beating the Eagles in the East Coast Derby on Friday. Hougang and the Young Lions sharing the spoils yesterday. The Jags thumped by Alberex Nagata, the defending champions, making sure they'll finish the first third of the season at the top of the table. And you've just seen the Lion City Sailors go second with this 4-1 win. They're now second in front of Hougang by goal difference, a point back to the Stags in 4th, who've got a trip to Tanjung Pagar next weekend. Balestier Khalsa stay 5th. So confirmation of these games, 250 tickets available. Book in advance and get down to support your AIA Singapore Premier League clubs. Cheetahs, Sailors, Saturday, a rematch of that incredible 3-1 win from Hougang here in March. Jaguars, Stags on Saturday. Tigers, Swans on Sunday, and the Young Lions entertain Galing International, who are looking for their first win since the opening day of the season. That just about does it from here. The Lion City Sailors winning by 4-1 against Balestier Khalsa. Stay safe, stay well, and get down to your local AIA Singapore Premier League ground next weekend. Stay safe, everybody.